Live. Good morning, everybody. This is Paul Romero with the Sell a House Wholesale Real Estate Training, number 140 on this amazing Freedom Friday. One of the favorite days of the strong session because, well, I don't know. I guess they're all favorite days, really. And I have with me here today the usual suspects, Mr.
John Luyster. I was very disappointed to not be here on Wednesday because I absolutely love doing these hangouts. This is like a therapy for me to get some of these thoughts and ideas and important information out to you people. And Google, screw you, Google. At the same time, you're so awesome. You suck so bad. I don't understand. There's always these darn glitches with these hangouts. And for some oddball reason, even this morning, we were having some trouble, and I was starting to get a little nervous because I'm like, gosh, I want to be part of this hangout today. I've got so many ideas and concepts building up in this brain that I need to have this conversation with Paul because, this is a mastermind session. You've heard Paul and I talk about this concept before, if you're a regular, what a mastermind is. But this is a chance for two brains to come together and introduce concepts about wholesale real estate, about personal development out to you guys, and having two people bouncing back and forth with ideas is so much more powerful than just if one of us was to come on here and give you everything from just that one point of view. Because what happens when you have two people discussing something, it's actually like a third entity, a third energy, a third point of view is created through the combination of the two minds. So, I love these hangouts. It's a mastermind for Paul and I. We certainly invite the people that are watching this who stumble into these to send us an email at proppertynoodlers@gmail.com, no matter who you are. If you're new to wholesale real estate, if you're an investor and you don't like wholesaling, but you're a buyer of properties, and jump on these hangouts. Let's share, let's talk. So anyway, with that, happy Freedom Friday and good day to you, Paul. I see you're munching down on some avocado toast. I'm a little jealous. I'm fasting for the day. So thanks for showing me that delicious food.
Actually, this is not avocado toast. This is testosterone on toast.
Testosterone toast. Gotcha. Well, you better calm down. I don't think you need much more testosterone. You're a pretty manly man already.
No, I wasn't researching testosterone, but I was looking up something. I forget what it was, and some of the vegetables and whatnot, and it just mentioned that avocado is very high in testosterone. I was like, oh, that's very interesting. Would have never thought or known anything about that.
Oh, I doubt your wife's watching, but be careful with him with all these avocados he's eating then.
So I love avocado, for one. I mean, I do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I love avocado on toast. I usually have a piece there about almost every morning. So I just started calling it, after reading that and seeing that, I now call it testosterone on toast.
Testosterone.
If I ever have a restaurant, I'll serve testosterone on toast.
So, yeah. Well, you know what? Before I kind of jump into a few things here, Paul, was there anything on your mind that you'd like to talk about today?
I had a thought a minute ago, but it went away. I didn't write it down, and now it's gone. And so I'll make that my thought. We have. Oh, I know where I was going because of the mastermind thing you were talking about, and how it turns into a third. There's a saying that goes, well, it's not a saying, it's the truth. One horse can pull a cart so fast, and two horses can pull it faster, but two horses don't pull the cart twice as fast as one horse. They pull it 3 times as fast as one horse. And the same thing is with this mastermind thing. You have one brain here that can think of things in this path, and you have another brain here that can think of things in this path. But when you put the two together, and they're thinking of things. It's not like they're just both thinking of things down the same two tracks there. It's like they combine, and like John says, now there's a third entity up here that sort of mixes the two together and creates things in this mind that they would never thought of, that are generated from this mind over here. And that's like the power of the mastermind, is getting the ideas from someone else that otherwise you would never come up with on your own, and taking those ideas and expanding upon them in a way that neither one of you would ever put together on your own. And that's sort of the exponential power of how the mastermind works. And I don't remember now where I was going. I don't know why my brain is not functioning well right now.
Well, wait for that testosterone from that toast to kick in about 10 minutes, and I'm sure you'll be fired up and ready to go.
Yeah.
I'll expand on that, Paul, a little bit. Like there is the power of the mastermind, which basically we are big fans of Napoleon Hill's work. Think and Grow Rich specifically is a book that I believe any aspiring entrepreneur, any wholesaler, anyone really that is, you know what, it doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter if you're a businessman, an investor, if you're an employee, if you're a high school student. Everybody needs to read this book. The world would be a different place if people read this book and understood the concepts and the power and the words of the book, and then mastermind the concept and the power and the words in that book. And that's where we got the whole idea of the mastermind from. It's just you want to be amongst like-minded individuals who think positively, who share a common vision, and have conversations about achieving those visions, achieving goals, being able to find your passions, and have those types of conversations with people throughout the day, form groups and alliances, mastermind, discuss, talk about those ideas, and then new concepts and ideas that no one person could have ever thought of on their own begin to grow and develop out of that. So that's kind of the idea of the mastermind. That's just kind of a side note to what I was actually thinking about getting into here today. But that's what these are here, is a mastermind. Paul and I sharing ideas with each other, and I would certainly like to have other people, guest speakers, guests come and join us on these hangouts. And let's get a third mind in here, and that's even more powerful, is my point. As Paul was saying before, I think he was going to touch upon the fact about, if you're watching right now, you should have a notebook and a pen in your hand, because any idea, any aha moment, anything we say that resonates with you, something that you want to remember, something that's a good idea or a concept, you're going to want to write it down, because as Paul says, thoughts are fleeting. Thoughts come and they go, and your thoughts escape you. And it's important to write them down, because it sets them in stone. It creates a new reality out of that thought, and it gives you something to come back and reference later, so you can remember what it was you were thinking about and develop those ideas and thoughts. I'm sure the average person has, let's talk about wealth right now, has $1 million ideas that come in and leave their mind just as fast, and they never materialize because they're not written down. So it's important to take notes and write things down. And I want to preface today's hangout because I think you're going to want to take notes, bottom line. So Paul and I have recently...
Because thoughts are things, but like John said, if you don't materialize them with pen and ink, then they're just thoughts. Yeah.
So what I was going to kind of say is that, Paul and I have been on an incredible journey for the last going on 4 years, since about January of 2012, maybe it was February, we first crossed paths. We started a wholesale real estate business with no idea really what wholesale real estate really was. We thought we were real estate investing. We didn't realize we were in the people business of sales and marketing. We've talked about these concepts. I'm not getting into that, but I'm just saying we've been on this amazing, amazing journey. We knew from day one that we were creating a business that was going to bring us to the promised land. We had faith in it, and we believed in it, and we were going to stick to it. We were very smart right from the beginning with how we were, our first couple deals, Paul, we took a payday, but we kept a significant amount of money from those first couple deals in order to reinvest into the business. We hired an employee. We worked on developing systems. Now let's fast forward through those last couple years and enter 2015. This year, hands down, has been the most prosperous, beneficial, successful year to date for Paul and I, and there's a reason for that, which I'll get into in a minute. But why is this the most successful year? Because of personal development. And that's what Freedom Fridays are all about. You have to be it's not just about being in the right place at the right time. It's about being the right person in the right place at the right time. And we talk about this and drill this home all the time about how important it is to have a positive mental attitude, the proper mindset, to constantly every day be studying personal and business development skills, because that is what's going to bring you success. Not just learning about wholesale real estate. That is just a small portion of what it takes to be successful. And now I'm bringing this up today because Paul and I had the opportunity to speak to a man in Arkansas yesterday who stumbled into me actually through Preston Ely's Real Estate Mogul website. And you're out there looking for a way to break into the wholesale real estate business, and you're willing to pick up the phone and call people that are already in the business and read articles and study, the Real Estate Mogul website is a great place to get started. It's connected Paul and I with investors from San Diego. We've met and talked with people right here in town. It's afforded us the opportunity to talk to this guy in Arkansas. You want more information about the Real Estate Mogul, go ahead and email Paul or I at proppertynoodlers@gmail. We'll get you hooked up with that.
We even sold a property on there.
We even sold property on there. Exactly. And it helped to transform our business. I'm just throwing that out there because this is how we got in touch with this guy from Arkansas. And in our conversation with this guy in Arkansas yesterday, he wants to come on board the Property Noodler team. He wants us to come out to Arkansas and help him build a business out there. And I love the opportunity. I love the way it all sounds. It's great. His name is Glenn. Glenn, you've got great reasons why you want to do the business. He's got some real immediate things that he needs money for, that he's kind of trapped in a situation. He's an older gentleman. So I believe he has the drive. Me and Paul spent about an hour in conversation with him yesterday. And what I think he's lacking right now is his mindset is only halfway there. He's got some knives and tools in the toolbox that need some serious sharpening. What he has the proper reasons why, he has the drive, but he's lacking a few things in his mental toolbox, and it comes down to his blueprint, his financial blueprint, and his mindset. And I think he has the potential to be successful, but I also think he has the potential to fail, and to fail hard. There's things that need to be fixed. Specific things he said to Paul and I that were like, you know what, we can help you learn wholesale real estate. He's open to what it is, what he needs to do for us in order to help himself to build this business. But we've got to get over and help him understand a few things about his mindset. It's very important. And there's two specific things that he had mentioned that will be the difference between success and failure. He's got to get over these couple things. So
there's one thing that stood out to me. At one point in time, you had asked a question about, what he would sort of want to get out of all of this. And what he immediately started describing was what he didn't want. What he doesn't want that he already has, and that sort of thing. And it's like, that is unfortunately the mindset that a lot of people have, in that we don't really know what we want. Most people really don't know what they actually truly do want. And it's a negative mindset that has been, ingrained into us, a negative way of thinking, in that our attention immediately focuses upon the things, when somebody asks most people, what do you want, or what are you passionate about, or what gets you excited, or all those things. And a lot of people immediately start describing the things that don't do it for them, and it's just like I said, it's just an ingrained negative way of thinking that is, like John said, one of the first things that needs to start twisting around to the fact that you are thinking about what you get yourself to the point where you stop thinking about the things that you don't want, because that's what you're attracting into your life, is more things that you don't want. And to start getting into the mindset of thinking about what it is that you do want, where it is that you do want to go, who you want to be, what you want to have, and all those things, and start thinking along those lines, so that the next time somebody asks you, well, what do you want, you could just, actually, what I really want is, I want this, 2015 BMW with the black interior, and you know exactly what you want. Or I want this wonderful relationship with a woman who is, or a man if you are already a woman, but with this person who is has a lot of similar ideas and likes as I do, so that we can share these things like that. Or I want this house that or I want to have relationships with people who are of this. When you get asked a question like that, and you can specifically say in detail things that you actually do want, and your mind doesn't immediately go towards the things that you have right now that you don't want, that's a big shift right there. And that was one of the things that jumped out at me, is when he started to answer that question. I almost jumped in and went, Glenn, stop. Stop. We didn't ask you what you don't want.
Right. Paul, that's one of the things that I picked up on as well. And you know what? I think I believe Glenn has some potential because of his, he, like I said, he has the why. And that's important to me, is that people if I'm going to work with somebody and spend my time with you and train you and teach you, guide you, and help you build a business, you've got to have the right kind of a why. And he does. He's an older gentleman. He wants, he's got a few health issues, back and a shoulder, I believe. So first thing he wants to do is like, I need to get some paychecks rolling so I can afford these surgeries, so that I can get rid of this pain and feel better. He needs back surgery, and he needs a shoulder surgery. He's got a car that's on the brink of falling apart, so he wants to get money so that he can get a newer vehicle. He wants to get off disability and make some real money so that he can go out and get a bigger place, a nicer place to live. He wants to have money to go out on more dates and meet more women and be able to take them out nice places. I love that why. And also another part of his why, which I thought was like, I'm 58 years old. I'm getting older. I don't want to, I live in an area, the Walmarts and the McDonald's and the jobs that are available. I don't want to do those types of jobs. I want to do something in real estate. I've done courses before, haven't been able to figure this thing out. I know there's money to be made here, and I want to learn about real estate. I loved all his whys. As I said, we noticed some leaks in the roof. And that's key. Is like when you're thinking about what you want, that's what you're thinking about. What you want. Never think about what it is you don't want, because what happens is you attract actually the things that you don't want, because all your subconscious mind and all the universe is hearing is, okay, more, I don't want more debt. I don't want more bills. Okay, all the universe and your subconscious is hearing is more debt, more bills, more back pain, more shoulder pain. Your car is going to break down now because all you're thinking about is the broken down car. It sounds it might sound funny to the uninitiated, but take it from me, like this shit is so real, it's laughable. I laugh about it. I was laughing about it this morning, and I was talking about that on my last hangout. You know, you think about the things you want. I want a new car. I want that shoulder surgery. You know, I want the bigger home. I want to take my girlfriends on dates. You know, you think about the things you want, and you don't talk about or think about the things that you don't want. You push those thoughts out of your mind. That is so powerful, because then you begin to feel confident. You begin to feel good because you're thinking about and good things. So that's just one of the things that I picked up on. There was actually two other things that I kind of picked up on that I want to point out, because Glenn is 95% of the people that are out there. So let's address what's causing 95% of the people out there to fail. So we started talking about wholesale real estate and how to make money and how to do this business. And his next kind of flaw was, well, we asked him, okay, so you've done some other trainings before. Why weren't you able to be successful in those trainings? He's like, because I don't have any money. I don't know anybody with any money to give me to do these deals. I don't have money. Lack of money is never the problem. And Paul and I did our first deal with $100. With $100. You know what? I would say if I had it all over again, and it was the difference between paying the power bill and having my electricity shut off, or taking the $100 from my power bill and putting it into the first deal that I ever did with Paul, turn the fucking power off. Seriously. It'll come back on and it'll never go off again. But turn the power off. Here's the $100 that we turned around and leveraged $100, and we made $16,138 on our very first deal off of a $100 bill. You know what? The way we write contracts now, Paul and I, we don't put a dime into a wholesale deal, not a penny. And our latest paycheck was what's the latest thing we just closed this week? I wrote you a check yesterday. Oh, yes. $22,000 profit on a property that we put $0 into escrow for. Our buyer put the money in escrow for us. Lack of money is never the problem. If you think you can't do something because you don't have the money to do it, you're right. You'll fail. But if you believe you can do something and that money is no problem, you'll succeed. So lack of money, and especially in wholesale real estate, is never a problem. That's part of the mentality that needs to be changed. Back to you.
I'll just boil that down a little bit, and it's I mean, it goes beyond just the thinking of the lack of money. I mean, whatever thought of, the lack of money, or the lack of ability to figure out what a property's worth, how to comp a property, or the lack of connections, I don't know any realtors, or the lack of any of those things, all boil down to the thinking process. Once again, back to that. Yes, here we go, because that's what we do, because you know what, that's where the meat is on the bone, it's in here, okay? And all of that thought process right there of, I don't know how, I have to figure this out before I can start, I tried and I couldn't because I didn't, all of those things all are born out of the whole idea of people focusing upon the how, and how I don't know how. And if I don't know how can I possibly? And that sort of thinking, when your thought processes really just need to be focused upon, the me. Okay? I don't know how that happens, but when it comes time for me to do it, I'll go figure it out. And I believe in myself that I can actually go out there and figure it out. So I don't know how right now, but I'm just going to get started, and I'm going to get going, and when the problem comes that I know is coming, because I know I don't know that yet, but when it gets there, I'm not going to worry about it right now. I don't have to worry about it right now. It's not on the radar. It's not in the scope of where I am. Where I am right now is I need to start. That's it. I need to start. and then I need to figure out and fix and correct and continue as I go along. And I believe in myself that I can do that. And so all your thinking all starts within yourself, and that's why we hound so much about all this personal development stuff, is because, like John said, you can be in the right place, you can be there at the right time, but if you're not the right person, you got nothing. You know, you can have the biggest deal come pound on your door and say, take me and make lots of money, and if you're not the right person to recognize that, you know, this is a great opportunity and I have to do whatever it takes to make this happen, it's going to go knock on your neighbor's door and they're going to do it, and you're going to end up with nothing. So it really is so key elementarily important that, you know, the basics, which are really you are the basics of all of this. That's the key element. That's where the success really lies, is within yourself, and making those commitments to yourself, building the belief in yourself, growing your passion within yourself, building your drive within yourself to think the right way and move forward with whatever it is that you want to do, whether it's wholesale real estate or anything. I don't care. You want to become a professional surfer. Well, you know what? You can sit there on the beach and you can go, wow, never surfed before, and those waves look big. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Well, I'll get in the water. Well, the water's cold. I don't have a swimming suit. This little surfboard here doesn't look like the ones that everybody else is using. I don't know. Maybe it's not going to work. And you can come up with all the excuses in the world, or you can just take the board, you can get up, you can run, you can dive in the ocean, you can start paddling out, and you can get hammered a few times. And you know what? As long as you get hammered and you get up and you go paddle back out again, you get hammered again, next thing you know, all of a sudden, you're going to be standing up going, whoa, look at me, I'm riding waves. And then, bam, you get hammered again. But you keep going, and it's all up here. You can sit on the beach and make excuses, or you can get in the water and get wet and make it happen.
Yes. You know, you got to have the mindset. Paul said it all right there. And that's why we do come on these hangouts, and they're devoted mainly to the mindset, because that was the key difference to our success. And plus, it's about systemization. So, you know, the lack of money, it does not mean you can't be successful. You have to have an abundance, a mindset of abundance. There's plenty of opportunity out there. You just need to have your eyes open and be receptive and open to receiving the opportunities. You know, specifically, there's one other thing that he said that I picked up on, and then I can sum up the mindset of the average person here and how we can change all that. Or, you know what, Paul and I can't change a damn thing. All we can do is offer information and hopefully inspire others to make the change. But he mentioned, you know, okay, so if I go to the seller's house and I make them an offer, a cash offer, and I pull up in my crappy vehicle with the dent in the side, you know, they're not going to take me seriously. And I said, and I kind of had to cut in at that point, because I was like, you know what? I'm not driving the nicest vehicle in the world. In fact, I'm still driving my the company paint truck that I've had for 10 years, mainly because I don't have time to go find a new vehicle right now. And you know, quite honestly, it drives, and vehicles was never something that's that important to me.
And at this point in time right now, there's better places to put your money.
And there's better places to put my money. I've got a vehicle that runs. That's, to me, the bottom line. But anyway, I had to cut in. I had to say, you know, Glenn, doesn't matter what you pull up to the house with. They're not buying your vehicle. They're not looking at you in that way. You just have to have two things when you walk in and talk to a seller. Number one, you want to look good. You know, if you have a beard, groom it, style it, trim it, fix your face, as Preston Ely says. Fix your face. Don't go in there with the big bushy eyebrows and disgusting, and brush your freaking teeth. Put on a nice clothes. look as sharp and as best as you can, not only because is that going to project a better image to that person, you'll feel better about yourself. You know, I'm someone who's like, you know, I like to look good. I like to dress good. I like to keep nice sharp lines on my face. I like to shave my balls, and I like to wear an expensive watch. You know what? It makes me feel good, and it presents well to people. So you know what? Groom yourself. That's the only thing I told them. You know, it doesn't matter what your car is. Groom yourself. Go into the person's house and go in there with confidence. You know what? If you're working with Paul and I, and we tell you to make a cash offer, make that cash offer, because you have a team behind you that can make sure we close on that contract. If we don't sell it, we'll buy it, period. You go in there with confidence. People are buying you. And you know what? As far as most investors I know around town, I can rattle off their names, are driving the shittiest vehicles I've ever seen in my life. And some of them are millionaires. You know, we got a guy, actually, he just recently bought a new vehicle. 6 months ago, this guy with his little We Buy Houses sign, who's flipped like 24 properties last year, who's grossed $1 million in sales to himself, was driving the biggest piece of crap rundown thing I've ever seen in my life. And at the time, it was making no sense to me. Now that I can actually afford a new vehicle, I don't want to buy one. I mean, it's not an investment. It's actually a liability. You go and you finance a vehicle, it's money out of your pocket every month. It reduces your cash flow, or it's a big chunk of change if you want to just cash it out. So, you know, and then a guy that's on our team, Brian, who's crushing it, who's making a great amount of money, not just from the stuff he does with Paul and I, but from other things. He's driving like a 1996 freaking 4Runner with paint falling off the damn thing. It's like the last thing right now I need to worry about is a car. I want to make money and I want to create passive income streams. Your car is not a problem. You know, as long as I believe, as long as you look good, how you look and present yourself is way more important than your vehicle. But that's where I said he's thinking of, you know, his mind is thinking of the lack of things.
It's all about
I lack the money. I lack a nice vehicle. I live in a shitty apartment. How am I going to convince people to sell me their houses?
Like I said, again, he's focused they're focused on the how, the how is this going to look? How's that going to go? How does this get done? How do I do that? How do I make this work? You know, how will put you in the grave. If you just have to, like John was just about to say there, you just have to have the confidence to make yourself feel good and look good and go in there with confidence, and it doesn't matter and nothing else matters. It has nothing to do with anything else, because the bottom line is when you're in front of somebody, it's not anything else that they're buying except for you. And if you have confidence, and you know what, you don't have to have knowledge to have confidence. You don't have to know all the answers in case they ask you a question. That's the beauty of our system, is that you have the power to be able to just go in there confidently, take what you have to take, and deliver what you can. And as soon as they trip you up, all you do is you pass it up. You pass it up to the next person who has more knowledge than you. That's all you got to do. And that gives you the confidence to go in there with what limited abilities and knowledge and everything that you have right now, and go in there with power and confidence, and just step up and say, hey, this is what we got, blah, 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 this, that, and the other thing. Question, you're tripped up. You know what? That's a fantastic question. I'm just kind of the front end guy here. I just like to come out. What I do is I come out here and make contact with you guys, find out where you're at, what your interests are, etc., and so on. If you want to get the real answers, you want to talk to my senior partner, and I'd be more than happy. You know, when can we set up an appointment for them to call you? Boom, you're done. Your job is finished. You're out the door, and you're attached to a deal that's John or myself or one of the team. Somebody's going to close that deal, and you're going to make money. I mean, it's just that simple, and that's what the power of our program is because you just went in there. You had you went in there with your confidence. You were able to get as much done as you could possibly get done, and as soon as you got tripped up, a lesson. something to learn, something for you to be able to learn and grow from. As soon as you get tripped up, you've got something to fall back on. You've got the power of a team. You've got the power of the mastermind, and you've got the power and the ability to just pass it on up to your senior partner and let them step in, close the deal so everybody can make money on this, and you get an opportunity to say, okay, now I know when this happens, that's how it goes. I just learned something. Boom, next step. I'm going in again. I can hit it again. Next person, boom, tripped up. Hey, that's great. I think you should be discussing with my senior partner. Boom, another lesson, something else learned. Every time you go in there with confidence, and every time you fail, you're learning, you're growing, you're getting bigger and better and stronger and more confident and more powerful, and that's what the power of our system is. Most other systems out there just throw you into the fire, and you come out singed and smoking and yelping, and and you'll never go back into the fire again. With our system right here, you know, or we take you to the edge of the swimming pool, we throw you in the deep end. You know, with our system right here, hey, guess what? Go to the shallow end here and come down the steps. Yeah, go one step at a time. There you go. Now you're in the water. All right. Hey, check it out. Now this is how you're going to swim. You know, so that's how you learn things. It's one step at a time. And that's the way our system is developed.
Absolutely. You know, we are 6 minutes over, but I do want to throw in kind of a final thought to kind of sum up the point of what we brought up today, and that is obviously mindset is everything, but you got to focus on the things you want, and you never focus on the lack of the things that you don't have. You don't focus on the lack. Okay, you don't have money, not a problem. What do you want? Focus on that. You have a crappy vehicle, you're embarrassed of it. Great. Don't focus on the lack of a great vehicle. Focus on the vehicle you want. Make that a goal to go out and make money. Approach things with confidence and only focus on the things you want, and eliminate self-defeating thoughts about the lack of things you don't have. And, you know, because your mindset and what we talked about here, and using, you know, our latest potential noodler as an example was just to point out the fact that, you know, your mindset is the difference between success and failure. So success and failure starts in the mind. So with that, unless Paul has anything final to say, I will go ahead and close this out with today's prayer.
I just want to say that success grows out of failure.
Okay, cool. Think about that one. You know what? I want to give people homework. Between now and Monday, and maybe we'll get into this a little bit on Monday, or New Op Day as we call it, still reprogramming the mind. It's very difficult to do. It's challenging. It's not difficult. It's just a challenge. And I love overcoming challenges. Take 5 minutes today, tomorrow, Sunday, and be ready for New Op Day. And just think about the things that you're passionate about, the things that you would love to have in your life. Pull out a notebook, pull out a pen, and write down things that you're passionate about, and write down the things that you want to have more of in your life, and begin to focus on those things. So with that, oh universe, I ask not for more riches, but I ask for more wisdom, and people like Paul and John in my life to bring me more wisdom, to make better use of the riches given to me at birth through the power to control and to direct my own mind to whatever ends I may desire. Have a great climax, and we'll see you on New Op Day.
Yeah, even though it is a forced holiday and you have to go take some time off, we'll be here bringing more good stuff.